I just really don't want to flinch. I didn't care about the damage really. Moonblast. That's a lot. Ah, that's not bad. Today, we're going to be using Markus Stadter's and Wolfe Glick's regionals team that won the Bochum Regional Championship, as well as got top 8 at the Knoxville Regional Championship. And it's a really cool team featuring Iron Jugulis that a lot of people didn't think this thing had potential, but hey, it did have a really cool niche in this format, and let's see how it performs. This team features Iron Jugulis with Choice Specs Go. Unlike Ramoon that has the Terra to gain access to ground type immunity, Iron Jugulis has a cool niche where it has access to dark typing to help against into the Armarouge while keeping its flying typing for Pokemon like Great Tusk. This also allows Iron Jugulis to run Terra Steel to help against Iron Bundle and Flutter Mane attacks. Tailwind helps benefit strong attackers in the Choice Specs Go and Life of Great Tusk on this team. And while the last two additions involve Gothitelle and Iron Hands that provide a Trick Room mode that is solid to clean up potential endgames. A lot of the game plans involve a Tailwind offense mode with Iron Jugulis, Great Tusk, Go, and Iron Bundle, trapping with Gothitelle in Trick Room immediately, or saving it as a late game cleanup with Iron Hands is also a strong option to consider as well. If you would like to check out the creators of this team, the report, or the details of the team, they'll be linked in the description. Excalibur, Amoonguss, Grimmsnarl, Volcarona, Sylveon, and the Annihilate. You know, this looks like a Series 1 team because there's no Paradox Pokemon actually. And I feel like I have seen this team on Series 1 before, so this is kind of very interesting here. The problem I think I have is the Annihilate is actually a very big concern factor. Although I do really like my Great Tusk here. The Great Tusk offense mode is pretty solid here overall. I also really like my Encore Bundle potentially because I can Encore them into unfavorable spots like bulk up on the Annihilate. I can Encore them into like Quiver Dance on Volcarona potentially. The only thing is the Grimmsnarl is actually pretty annoying, but I don't think it can really do much other than set up screens against Go Iron Jugulis lead, which I think I am going to lead here. Then in the back, I like the Great Tusk here. Great Tusk is pretty good here overall against my opponent because of the Headlong Rush just being super strong here. And then Hands isn't too bad. I am considering Hands. It is a good counter to the Excalibur, which is something I'm very interested in. But also, I like the Encore pressure a lot. So let's try out the Iron Bundle this time, I think. The only problem with this Iron Bundle is it doesn't have Hydro Pump. It does have Icy Wind for speed control, so it might come into play against the Volcarona if I accidentally let it set up too many Quiver Dances. So I need my Great Tusk outspeed, so the Icy Wind might come into play here. However, we'll see. I do have Power Gem also on the Go, which is going to help put on a lot of pressure. We're going to see the Annihilate plus the Amoonguss lead. Okay. So I'm okay with this lead because I can go for an Air/Shadow Ball right here pretty safely into a slot. I would really like to target down, I think, the Amoonguss to avoid a Spore. I'm not really too afraid of Annihilate at the current moment because it Rage Fist, there's no like beat up mouse hole to increase the power of that Rage Fist. So I like the idea of just going for that Shadow Ball here and an Air Slash. I think it's really strong here into the Amoonguss. I don't really need Tailwind up. The only problem is if Amoonguss protects his turn, but we are going to see a Terra immediately from the Annihilate. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is like Terra Fire or something to resist the Make It Rain right here. And we are going to see the Terra Fire. So it's really nice because I was able to force a Terra Fire. They were too scared to Make It Rain here, especially Air Slash double up here. So this ends up working out huge for me because my Great Tusk is going to put on a lot of pressure against that slot. The bulk up going to come out. That's decent. No, the Annihilate is not too fast. The Golden Go is not super fast on this team. Okay. So I am able to get a Shadow Ball off into the Amoonguss. Based on the Air Slash damage, should pick up the knockout, which it does. Perfect. Okay. So really good turn 1 start for me here. This lead is really strong right here, and we're going to see what is going to come out from my opponent next. If Volcarona could be a thing, or Grimmsnarl. Okay. I don't mind Grimmsnarl coming out. So they're probably setting up screens, which that part is a little bit tough. It is a little bit tough. I could go out into my Great Tusk hard into Great Tusk, which isn't a bad play. I do kind of like the Great Tusk because Rage Fist is just not doing any damage. And I do like the idea of just going for an Air Slash immediately into the Grimmsnarl. But they might bulk up again. If they bulk up again, it might be better to go Iron Bundle so I can Encore. And I really like that option. So, because I think even though I could get a lot of pressure with the Great Tusk, I think it's even more ideal for me to get an Encore situation if they go to +2. Because if they go to +2, I'm worried about like how much damage I'm doing through Reflect. And That's pretty dicey with the Great Tusk. I'd rather go out into my Iron Bundle. We're going to see a light screen setup, which is makes a lot of sense. I had 2 special attackers out on the field. Air Slash going to come out into the Grimmsnarl. Does absolutely no damage right here. They go for a Rage Fist immediately. Okay, so I could have went to Great Tusk and been in an okay position. But yeah, as you can see, it's not really doing that much damage. So not really like super surprised here. I think now what I can do is just go for Protect with Iron Bundle. I can go for an Air Slash into the Grimmsnarl here. I could Encore to actually Encore to Grimmsnarl is not too bad either. I do kind of like that. Yeah, I like the Encore and the Grimmsnarl and an Air Slash. They probably set up Reflect here, and the Annihilate probably picks up the KO here onto Iron Bundle with Drain Punch. Or they go for a Spirit Break, it looks like, which is actually really ideal because now they can't go for Reflect. And now my Great Tusk is going to be in such a good position next turn with Headlong Rush. So we're going to see Drain Punch come out into Iron Bundle, pick up the Knockout, which is cool. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And let's see what comes out afterward. Because I am going to go out into my Great Tusk right here. I think I flinched them, but they were going to be locked into Light Screen anyway. So Great Tusk is going to come in. We had the Terra Ground option. They don't have a switch. They do not have a switch. So the question is, do I want to go for Headlong Rush or do I want to go for Earthquake? I'm tempted to go for the Headlong Rush instead here. I think Earthquake is probably okay though, because they don't have a switch. They really don't have a switch. So I like the Earthquake plus Tailwind. My only concern is they have Excalibur in the back. And then Ice Shard range is actually kind of concerning. So you know what? I'm going to go for the Headlong Rush into the Annihilate. And I'm going to go for a Tailwind right here. Just to make sure I think I'm faster than the Annihilate. Because if I'm not, then it's kind of a weird situation. We're going to see the switch out from the Grimmsnarl into Volcarona. Okay, perfect. The Volcarona I'll gladly take here. I don't know if they can protect the Annihilate because I don't know, it's super passive at this rate. I wonder what kind of Volcarona set this is, because are you the Rage Powder set or are you something else right here? We're gonna tear our Great Tusk here. Nice. They didn't protect. Okay, that's probably best case scenario because now I'm able to get a Headlong Rush. This should KO, I think, Annihilate with the Terra Ground Life Orb. I know you're +1 defense, but Headlong Rush just nukes the Annihilate. Perfect. Okay. Really what you love to see there. So goodbye Annihilate. Fantastic. So I don't have to worry about Volcarona going for a Terra anymore. Golden Go is still something that I do have in the back. So I think I want to focus on probably going for the KO into the... Actually, do I care about the KO on the Grimmsnarl? I probably do. I would like to go for an Earthquake here, I think, immediately. But I want a Headlong Rush. I don't really care about the Grimmsnarl. It doesn't affect my Golden Go, which is the main Pokemon I'm going to try to get rid of Volcarona with Power Gem. So I think my play is always just do Earthquake anyway for the damage and go for a Snarl and lower that special attack on the Volcarona if I can. They go for Reflect here, which makes sense. I don't know what kind of Volcarona this is yet, so we'll find out. Snarl going to come out. Luckily, he lands on the Volcarona, which is the big one I need to hit. So, oh, wait, hold on. Okay, I thought that was Covert Cloak for a second. So it's not. Earthquake going to come out. And this should do... It's Terra Ground Life Orb, so even to Reflect, I imagine this still does 50% to each. Yeah, about 50% to each, which is nice. Headlong Rush and the Grim would have been fantastic, but again, it's not too big of a deal. Gonna be that Citrus Spray on the Volcarona, which is fine, but they have to choose whether they go for Quiver Dance or not this turn, which is a big one. Or they go for Giga Drain immediately. Doesn't even knock out the Great Tusk, actually. That's kind of funny. Okay, perfect. Because now I can go for another Snarl into the Volcarona. This is actually the most ideal situation because I can take the Snarl here into the Volcarona. I can go for a Earthquake, knock out the Grimmsnarl always here. And faints, or Great Tusk faints. I get a free switch to Golden Go. And then Power Gem pressures the Volcarona afterward. They're going to go for a Parting Shot, which is smart here. Okay. So I do less damage to the Volcarona. They're probably going to try to get that Quiver Dance up, but it's fine if they do. Another Snarl just to lower that special attack on the Volcarona. So now it's at -2 special attack right here. And let's see if it's going to be a Quiver Dance, which I imagine is going to be the case always. So, especially with Giga Drain, they usually don't run that on the bulkier set. So, okay, going to pick up the Knockout. Nice. Light Screen calcs are going to be confusing here because it's Light Screen and Quiver Dance, but Choice Specs... Golden Go should have enough firepower, I think, especially with the Iron Jugulis still around to win the game. I just gotta avoid getting crit. Yep, they Quiver Dance. I also have to hit moves up with the Iron Jugulis. I think if I hit an Air Slash, I'm like in a really good spot. Even if they protect the Volcarona, I think I'm in an okay spot. So yeah, we're gonna go out in a golden go right here. -1 special attack even with the quiver dance because of the 2 snarls from earlier. I could trick here, but I just don't see reason to go for that play. I'm gonna go for the power gem here and an air slash. I think I'm just gonna go straight for the damage because -1 isn't that different here because it's really going to come down to crit anyway. They're gonna protect. Makes sense. Okay. Do I want to trick or do I want to tail or do I just want to fire out the air slashes? I think I'd rather go for the tailwind this upcoming turn. Actually, no, I think I'd rather just air slash because if they do crit me here, they're going to be faster than my Iron Jugulis most likely. Are they? I think it depends on their... Actually, I think I am faster. They're only a +1 speed, right? Yeah, they're only a +1 speed, I suppose. So I think I should just power gem and tailwind because if I am faster than Volcarona, I always get the power gem damage off, which is huge for me. So I don't have to rely on air slash flinch. And yeah, okay, so I am able to get the tailwind off, which is nice, and power gem. So I should be able to speed Volcarona here. Yep, power gem. Don't think this picks up the knockout. Oh, it does actually. Okay, so Volcarona goes down, and that is good game. So was able to really just put on the pressure immediately with the Iron Jugulis and the Golden Go, get rid of the Amoonguss. Great was able to come in after their Terra was burnt, and yeah, I was just able to put on so much damage output. I was just worried about how much the Rage was going to do afterward, and like if let's say an Earthquake in that position, Earthquake, Rage is boost on the Annihilate, but probably survives the attack, gets the attack off, and then I'm in Ice Shard range. Tyranitar, Lycanroc, Fluttermane, Iron Bundle, the Armor Rouge Entity. Okay. This is going to be a weird game, that's for sure. Definitely going to be a weird one here. All right, it's not too bad though. I think what I could do is I'm going to lead my... So I think this is probably the flip turn strategy stuff, which is not like too surprising. I'm actually going to try to lead my Iron Jugulis plus my Iron Hands here. And I think that's super solid for the most part. I like the idea of going out into my Gothitelle afterward and then... Golden Go, I think, as the last Pokemon, because Great Tusk is nice, but it's not like necessary. I have a few ideas of what could happen here. This is probably going to be something that involves the weak armor. Here's the thing: there's so many things that could go with this team, and if I guess the set wrong, it's going to be awful. But I'm thinking like this could be a position where they could lead something like the what's it called, Iron Bundle plus, of course, Iron Bundle plus Armor Rouge flip turn stuff. They can get around the shadow tag that way, or they can lead Tyranitar Lycanroc. So we're gonna have some fun here. All right, that's fine. Okay. I would like to protect the Iron Jugulis, and I want to click Fake Out actually. Because I don't think you're going to go hard into the... Would you go hard into the here? You could. I don't think it's necessary for you, but you could. I just want to break the sash on Lycanroc so I can dress into a Drain Punch. And you might be thinking, a Fake Out Protect is such a bad play normally. Not in this case, because the Fake Out would allow me to break the sash, and I don't want Iron Jugulis to take too much damage. I also don't want to go hard Gothitelle just yet, without pressuring the Lycanroc in some way. I also want to scout for their Terra, like if they Terra the Tyranitar now. So I think... This looks really weird in that retrospect, but it's okay here. Okay. They switch out an entity. Fluttermane, looks like. Yeah, that's okay. All right. We're going to go for the Protect with the Jugulis. We're going to see... Okay. Fake Out. So this is not a bad turn. I broke their sash. It's not that big of a deal. Okay. Also, be confirmed that I'm faster than Fluttermane, so it's not Scarf Fluttermane for some reason. Nice. You're gonna go for Rock Slide? Or are you gonna go for Endure? I want to go for a Snarl right here. I want to reduce that damage of the Fluttermane immediately. And I think I want to go for the Wild Charge. I want to Drain Punch. I want to Terra because then I don't resist the rock type attacks. I mean, it's probably better to Wild Charge to Fluttermane. They go for the Rock Slide. Nice dodge on the Jugulis. Okay. I don't really care about the damage, although it might matter because I might actually live the Dazzling Gleam now. Okay, Snarl. I just really don't want to flinch. I didn't care about the damage really. Moonblast. It's a lot. that's a bad. Okay. Now it might matter. Okay. How do I get out of this spot? So they're gonna Rock Slide, Moonblast again, or Dazzling Gleam if they have it this time. And that was such a bad flinch. Even if I was losing hands to the Wall Charge recall, it was still like a pretty decent position there. I think I protect Jugulis, and I think I go hard into Goff. Because Goff is a lot less valuable, I suppose, now. Yeah, Goff is a lot less valuable now. So we protect the Jugulis. There should be Rock Slide, maybe Moonblast, double up into Goff, which is fine. I mean, they should always target the Gothitelle, but we'll see. They're also taking the residual damage, so it's okay. Okay. They do Moonblast again. Yep. Gothitelle able to tank that. Special attack drop is unfortunate, but yeah. Not much I can do here. If I get Trick Room up, I'm in a really good spot. I think they can't have Gleam then, because if they had Gleam, I think you would 100% have went for it. If I Trick Room, I'm in a good spot, but that's only if I can get the Trick Room set up. How many turns of Sandor left? 2. Okay. I'm gonna go for another Snarl, I suppose, here. And I'm gonna attempt to get the Trick Room up. Yeah, let's try it. You go for Rock Slide and Earth Touch. Gothitelle, okay. Which could matter. We'll see. Go take the Rock Slide, Snarl. Oh my god, we're missing everywhere. I hit the important one though, which is the Flutter Mane. Okay. A Moonblast and a Jugulis. Okay. As long as that Rock Slide didn't flinch me, I was fine. Because I'm pretty sure I lived the next Rock Slide. So now I got a Trick Room off, and now I can go for Make It Rain and Charm into the Flutter Mane slot. So that will cover the Flutter Mane switching into anything other than Armarouge, but I don't know if you're going to bring Armarouge at this point. I can see you bring solo Entity, but I don't see you bring solo Armarouge into this. Okay. Maybe I could have Terra the Gothitelle and a Terra Steel, but I wasn't 100% certain. Hands might be able to get some recovery. I could also go Hands and Charm the Lycanroc. That's not a bad play either. But I think I'd rather go Golden Go. Golden Go puts on way too much pressure to Make It Rain right now. That's 100% worth it. So we're going to go for a Make It Rain and a Charm here. Unless... yeah, like, there's no reason not to go for the Charm here. Covers for the Tyranitar swap. Lycanroc can only endure, or... I don't know what else it can really do here. Go down, I guess, to the attacks. So, or to the Make It Rain. Let's see. Still a scary position, but very winnable now. Very winnable. Because even if I went even if Hands gone down, I thought like, okay, I could still like Golden Go is still really good against like their Sand mode, but unfortunately, we'll see. Charm into the Flutter Mane. Okay, so they're just letting me get to Make It Rain off, so I'm getting a double knockout here. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I went for Charm just to cover because like the only thing that could switch was the Flutter Mane. So now it's the Tyranitar and the Entity versus the World coming up. Okay. Then it starts to subsides, but it's going to get reset, so that's not very... well, I do get a bit of leftovers recovery, but the special defense boost is probably going to matter more. What's their last? The problem is if it is actually Armarouge in the back. I really don't think it should be, but if it is, that's a concern. Tyranitar plus Bundle? It is Bundle. Okay, that's actually good for me. Okay. I wonder how fast the Tyranitar is, because if I can get the Charm off, that's huge. I mean, I think my play is just to go Hands here and protect. This could be Hydro Pump, which I think is okay here. Actually, they might be scared of Psychic Make It Rain double up in the bundle, so they might actually have to attack with the Tyranitar. But my play is just to always go out into my Hands here and protect the Gothitelle, because now I can Charm and then Make It Rain afterwards. So this is basically the trapping with the Gothitelle that I wanted in this position, I suppose. Gonna see a Terra. Yep, makes sense. All right, who's the Terra gonna be? The Tyranitar or the bundle? Gonna be Tyranitar. Terra flying. Okay, so you don't have your Sand Speed Depth Boost anymore. So the Sand's actually gonna help me now. Okay. As they're gonna take more residual. Nice. So we protect Gothitelle because we want to scout for what they're gonna do here, and we don't want to lose 2 Pokemon here when it's not necessary. Bundle does protect. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Assurance into the Golden Go. Oh, that did actually. Ah, that wasn't a crit. I thought that was a crit. Okay. Could have charmed there, unfortunate, but still works out huge for me. Because I can go out into my Golden Go, Terra Steel, make it rain. Also, be confirmed that my Gothitelle is slower than their Tyranitar naturally, so it's faster in Trick Room, which is actually really good. Because now I can guarantee the Charm off into Tyranitar. Assuming it wasn't a speed tie, which I don't think with this Gothitelle, I don't think it'd be a speed tie here. So hard into Golden Go. And we still have our Terra, so we can go for Make It Rain here. So that's exactly what we're going to do. Make it rain and charm the Tyranitar. So it's a losable game. I would need to get crit a bunch, I think, with the Tyranitar. I think the bundle also has to probably get a double protect here at least. I don't remember there are 2 turns of Trick Room left, which I think there are. So they would need a triple, I think. But it depends. Tyranitar, after the charm, I don't think an attack from Tyranitar into a Hydro Pump should knock out Golden Go. So I should be 100% safe, I think. Unless the Tyranitar is faster than my Golden Go, I suppose. Which would be a very fast Tyranitar if that's the case. And then a Hydro Pump Assurance double up could make me lose the game. Well, let's see here. Bring out the Terra Steel Golden Go. Gonna do a lot of damage. And do they go for the double? They don't go for the double. Okay, so I think that's like an auto lose here situation then for them. Unless they Rock Slide Flinch, I suppose. That might be what they go for. Oh, they Assurance. Okay. Okay, so crit me out the first one, but thankfully they didn't go for the double protect with bundle. So here comes Make It Rain into the bundle. Wow, that just actually nuked the Tyranitar. Is that not a Solvest? I guess that's not a Solvest. I thought a Solvest Tyranitar would live. I mean, sure, it is Terra Steel Make It Rain from Golden Go. But Tyranitar still slouching the special defense department, especially with most of them being Assault Vest. So I think that had to be not Assault Vest in that case then. Which, okay, nice. Not much to say. Sand is just really annoying to deal with. I think with Side Spam because like Sand, I think a Gothitelle Iron Hands would be usually very safe. But because they had a Side Spam potential and Flutter Mane, it made things a little bit weird for me to play. But thankfully, even with like the flinch, we got some own luck of ours and was able to pull through. All right, we have Tyranitar, Great Tusk, the Iron Bundle, Flutter Mane, Paragiraffe, and the Corviknight. I might still be pronouncing that Pokemon wrong, and I don't know. We'll see. I would imagine some Prison Trick Room on the Giraffe. I don't think this is Trick Room specifically, although there is a Tyranitar mode. There is Tailwind, though, from the Corviknight if it is going to be one of those cases. What do I exactly want to go here is a good question. Against Iron Bundle Flutter Mane, the Iron Jugulis is really good, as well as the... Ooh, I also really like the Golden Go. Golden Go is really fantastic. I think a lot of the potential here is by going for the Tailwind mode immediately. I could also go for a Trick Room mode if I really want to. Do I think that's worth it? Not exactly too sure, but I definitely want to bring Iron Jugulis. I think Golden Go as a lead. It puts on a lot of pressure. Seems really strong against my opponent's team, so I do like that. I could have Great Tusk, but I don't think it's really that strong against this team, especially against Corviknight, especially if it's a bulk up set or Iron Defense set. So I kind of like the Gothitelle, especially against a lot of the physical attackers against Tyranitar or Great Tusk. I could charm it. And then I think I like the Iron Hands a lot here. And I do kind of like this right here. I could have seen myself going for like a potential Iron Bundle play, but the thing is, no Hydro Pump here isn't exactly helping my case. It's a little bit too weak into Corviknight. Icy Wind isn't a move I really want to go for against a Corviknight with Mirror Armor. So a lot of the plan is really just going to be depending on lead and what I could trap in with Gothitelle. And I see a few setups here. I'm going to see Flutter Mane and Corviknight lead, which is perfectly fine for me. All right. So I do lead the Iron Jugulis and the Golden Go immediately, and Make It Rain is a pretty strong play here, and just going for that Tailwind. I do get the booster energy with the Iron Jugulis, so I am always going to be faster than the Flutter Mane, unless it's a Choice Scarf set for some reason, which it really shouldn't be on this team. So I really think that just a Tailwind here is super safe. I can go for that Make It Rain very safely. I can also trick the Corviknight, which is also an interesting play if I expect like the Flutter Mane to protect, and that's also a very cool consideration, although I don't think it's really necessary on this turn 1 right here. So I'm going to go for and Make It Rain immediately. It should also do some pretty good damage to the Corviknight right here. So if they protect here, that's okay. I can Snarl and go for Make It Rain the next turn, and they can't pick up a knockout into my Golden Go because this Golden Go is extremely bulky. So regardless, I feel pretty safe here. I'm going to get some pretty good damage into the Corviknight, and then I threaten a huge amount of damage next turn to the Flutter Mane. I kind of wish I went for the Trick now, but I wasn't sure if the Flutter Mane was going to be like a Choice Scarf set, which it could have been. It could have been Focus Sash, but it's not really that big of a deal. I probably would have just Shadow Ball with the Golden Go with how bulky it is. Tailwind is going to be set up, so they're going to have a matching Tailwind. That's cool. Now, I don't mind going for a Snarl here and to Make It Rain. Sure, I'm going to get a -1 onto Iron Jugulis, especially with the Mirror Armor on the Corviknight, but I don't think it's that big of a deal because like Iron Jugulis here is just to slow down the Flutter Mane here without me having to commit to Terra. I want to keep my Terra around just for my Iron Hands, just in case that's going to be like a Great Tusk end game, and I do want to have the Terra Grass potentially for it as an option. I could also trick the Corviknight later as long as the Golden goes around if it's like a Shadow Ball plus a Brave Bird double up here. So I think this is an okay play. They want to go Tyranitar. They take a lot of damage. They really don't have a switch into the Snarl plus Make It Rain. I just really hope I don't miss a Snarl onto the Flutter Mane. If I hit the Corviknight, or if I miss the Corviknight, that's actually better for me, but not the biggest deal. And yeah, we're going to see the Flutter Mane retreat here. So we're going to see a Great Tusk come out, which isn't really going to take this super well. And that's an answer to my Iron Hands gone, potentially. I don't know if I'll KO with the Make It Rain. I mean, it is choice spec, so I might. Because I Make It Rain here into the Great Tusk. Did I miss the Corviknight? I might have. Did I take the special attack trap? I don't think I did. Bulk Up going to come out, but Corviknight's pretty low. And I mean pretty low at this point. Did I miss the Mirror Armor interaction? No. Is that pressure that I just didn't see? I don't recall, but Snarl looks like it takes care of the Great Tusk here. So I think I could just go for a Snarl again and then Make It Rain here. And it's not pressure Corviknight. Wait, I think I just missed a Snarl then. Yeah, okay. So I don't mind just going for another Make It Rain right here, realistically. Like, getting the damage off is pretty huge, especially in the Corviknight. Especially if they protect, that's cool. Especially if I just get the KO onto the Corviknight. And even then, even if it's not the case, right, I still have the idea of tricking with the Golden Goal later in the game and air slashing potentially the Great Tusk here. So Snarl going to come out here. Yeah, it's... Wait, no, I did connect with Snarler. It's just not Mirror Armor. Wait, did I see a Nerve? I don't think I saw a Nerve. I barely missed a knock on the Corviknight, which is unfortunate, but okay. But no special attack drop happened. Roost is going to come out, which is cool. Okay. So I don't mind this at all. Yeah. I think I could just go for an air slash into the Great Tusk. I mean, I think Snarl does pick up the knock on the Great Tusk, so I might as well just retreat here. I'm going to go into Gothitelle right here. I don't want to go into Hands just yet. I want to make sure Hands is healthy and might as well have that Shadow Tag option available. The only problem is if Corviknight does get set up for a bit, but Choice Spec Shadow Ball should do a lot in the late game, so it shouldn't be too big of a deal. And we already saw Tailwind and Bulk Up. Okay, Corviknight dodging isn't the biggest deal. We do get rid of the Great Tusk. Like, I knew I had to hit Air Slash it anyway, so it's the same accuracy, so might as well just go for the Snarl. So that's not too bad. Roost is going to come out again, which is cool. So the Corviknight's at +1. Tailwind's basically stalled out, but not terrible. Not terrible at all. Tailwind's going to peter out for both sides. We're probably going to see the Flutter Mane come back in. I'd imagine it's Flutter Mane. Like, why wouldn't he bring in Flutter Mane this position with Super Effective Shadow Ball or Super Effective Moonblast? You also are immune to the Shadow Tag right here, so you can switch out later if it doesn't work out well for you. You're going to see the Flutter Mane come out. Yep. I'm a bit worried about how much a Brave Bird would do. I do want to go for a Snarl immediately. And the question is, what do I want to do here with my Gothitelle? Do I want to protect or do I want to go for a Trick Room? Those would be the options here. I kind of like the idea of just protecting here because I could definitely see a double up here into the Gothitelle. So I'm going to go for protect here because I don't think they're really fearing the Iron Jugulis. So might as well just get that Snarl off. And if I can snack or stack 2 Snarls into a Flutter Mane, fantastic. But unfortunately, we do miss one of them. And that's actually a pretty big miss right there. They go for a Dazzling Gleam, not Shadow Ball. Actually, interesting. Okay. This could be bad. Okay, I survive. It's a life orb. I would have really liked to hit that snarl. Unfortunate. Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't think I made a terrible play, but I guess I could have trick room there. But yeah, that's pretty awful that I missed. All right, we're gonna go for a trick room and a snarl attempt here. There's really not a switch that I can do for the Gothitelle slot, unfortunately. I could go for the double protect, sack my Iron Jugulis to bring in the hands, but I don't even know if Gothitelle might survive 1+1 Brave Bird plus a Dazzling Gleam with the life orb, but that's a really unfortunate miss onto the Flutter Mane. That was basically the target I want to hit, but okay. It's a winnable game. However, it really just depends on if Gothitelle can survive the turn, I think. I really would like to snarl off potentially. The Corviknight shouldn't be too big of a deal. Shadow Ball is going to come out into the Gothitelle again. Oh, wait, I don't have Citrus Berry. Yeah, I don't have Citrus Berry. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. They're going to double up here. Snarl is faster than at least the Corviknight slot, so that's one positive here. Okay. It bulk up again. Interesting. Okay, wait, no, that puts me in the game. Okay. That does put me in the game, because now I get to trick him off with the Gothitelle, and okay, we actually have a game. Surprisingly. Okay. So I would like to go for a Shadow Ball. No. Air Slash is definitely, I think, my play. Or Snarl again. Snarl isn't too bad here. Does Air Slash Psychic KO Flutter Mane in this position? Maybe. It's close, but I just don't see why I would risk it. I think I would rather just protect Gothitelle and Snarl. Even if I get this play wrong and they target Jugulis, I get a free switch to Iron Hands, which I think is more ideal here. Yeah, again, that's really unfortunate that I did miss that snarl, but fortunate for me, they went for the bulk up instead of like getting rid of the Gothitelle right there. That's a little bit greedy, and it's going to probably pay off for me potentially. We haven't seen a Terradol yet, which is something I'm considering. I have a choice, but Shadow Ball might actually just knock out the Corviknight. What item is this Corviknight? Is it Cloak? Is it just Cloak? Because it's not pressure. Unless Snarl does... No, Snarl should work for... Mirror Armor should work for Snarl here. I don't get it. Okay. They go for Roost, which is fine. Okay. So that is cool for me. I still get a big snarl off into the Flutter Mane, and that's some pretty good chip damage. Yep, beautiful. Dazzling Gleam. Okay, perfect. So that works out for me. I'll definitely take this turn. All right. So Iron Jugulis is going to go down, which I wanted. I could have went for the Air Slash Psychic double up KO, but that's all right. I don't think it's too bad. Do I want to go into Golden Go right here is the question. Golden Go does seem pretty worth it here. Yeah, I might as well just go Golden Go. The Shadow Ball pressure is insane in the Corviknight right now. So we'll bring out the Golden Go. Should I Terra Steel is the question. I don't know if it's worth going for the Terra Steel. I do really like the idea of going for the Shadow Ball here for sure, though. Shadow Ball is definitely a really strong play here. Maybe I go into Flutter Mane just in case. But Flutter Mane could protect too, so this is kind of concerning. I really want to double up the Corviknight slot, really. I think doubling up the Corviknight slot might be a strong suit here. So last turn, Tailwind. You know what? I'm going to double up the Corviknight slot. Let's go for a Psychic plus Shadow Ball right here into the Corviknight. Yeah, they protect Flutter Mane. Fantastic for me. I got a bunch of damage in the Corviknight. Sure, I could have got a Trick Off, but it's not that big of a deal. I'm going to get some pretty big damage into the Corviknight here with the Spec Shadow Ball. And they really can't do that much damage to my Golden Go. They could take the knock on Gothitelle, but then I get a free switch to Hands, and Hands is in a really good position. Like, look at that damage. They go for the Roost, which is fine. Okay. Like, this is super passive, and it's working out for me. Okay. And Gothitelle is getting some HP back, so not terrible. Tailwind Peter's out for them. 2 turns of Tailwind. Where the switches, like... Is it Tyranitar in the back? I don't think it's going to be the Giraffe at this point. I think I'm just Shadow Balling the Flutter Mane, and I actually want to go hard into Iron Hands. And you might be thinking, why am I going hard Iron Hands? Well, I have Fake Out Pressure, which is also one good note here. But also, the Tyranitar is the last Pokemon I can actually threaten it with Drain Punch afterward. Or Wild Charge, depending on if I want to go for that or not. So let's see. Iron Hand's going to come out. We'll also take a Brave Bird at +2. They're going to retreat the Flutter Mane, which makes sense. This is probably Tyranitar, which I wouldn't be surprised about. Yep, Tyranitar does come out. So yeah, I could have Charmed as well. Charmed also in the Tyranitar what made a lot of sense here. But I don't think it's like the biggest deal. Let's see. They go for a roost again, which is perfect, actually. Okay, nice. I don't take damage on the Iron Hands on the switch, which is really nice. I am able to get a Shadow Ball off into the Tyranitar, which is fantastic. Nice. And special defense drop, not really gonna matter at this point in the game because I am basically locked into the Shadow Ball right here. I don't think it's really gonna matter too much either. So I think I'm gonna Shadow Ball the Corviknight slot. I'm gonna Shadow Ball the Corviknight slot, and I'm gonna go for a Fake Out into the Tyranitar. Or should I Fake Out the Corviknight? I'm more scared of Tyranitar, so I Red-Tarted the Tyranitar. Yeah. Because I don't know if Tyranitar is gonna Terra. And that's why I don't want to go for a Drain Punch immediately. I would love to otherwise, but I think my best play is just to Fake Out Shadow Ball because my Golden Go should be the fastest thing on the field the upcoming turn, unless they want to go for a Tailwind here. If they go for a Tailwind, that's a pretty strong play for them. But what I want to do is if they don't and they go for the damage in Iron Hands immediately with a Brave Bird, I get a Shadow Ball into the Corviknight. They can't roost up the damage because their Corviknight moves first, and then my Golden Go will move after and get a Shadow Ball again into their Corviknight, which I think is fantastic here. We're going to see that Terra come out. It is going to be the Terra Flying, which is not too surprising here. Okay. Now that special defense drop actually might come into play with that Shadow Ball from earlier in the game. So we'll see here. Fake Out going to come out in a Tyranitar. I thought about wall charging that slot, but I don't even know if wall charge would even pick up the knockout. We're going to see Brave Bird come out from the Corviknight. That's a lot of damage to Iron Hands, but it's not enough to pick up a knockout. We are going to be able to get a Shadow Ball off into the Corviknight, which should do about 50% from how we've seen the previous, or even more potentially. Nice. And now I want to say that this should be super safe of a win here, because I'm going to go for a Shadow Ball into Corviknight. I always pick up the knockout. I outspeed from how we saw this earlier, and then I'm just going to I do want to tear my Golden Go here because tearing the Golden Go allows me to take the crunch better if they do decide to go for the crunch. And we're going to go for a wall charge into the Tyranitar. Try to pick up the knockout, especially with that extra chip damage we got earlier with the Fake Outs. So let's see. This is going to be a close game, especially because I don't know what the Tyranitar is going to do here. I could have teared the Iron Hands, but I don't think Terra Iron Hands matters too much, especially Terra Blast. I don't know if it picks up the knockout this range. I just want to make sure that Crunch never picks up the knock on the Golden Go here, which is going to be the really big crucial here. I'm hoping I can live Crunch into Dazzling Gleam too, which I should be able to. My only concern is if I do actually go down to a Tyranitar attack with the Iron Hands here, which is why I didn't Terra, because I don't want to take a Terra Blast if they do go for Terra Blast. Shadow Ball going to knock out the Corviknight. Beautiful. So Corviknight eliminated, and we're going to see what Terra Blast does come out into the Iron Hands, which is perfect, assuming I live, which I think I should be able to. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Let's go, Iron Hands. A big wall charge in Tyranitar does pick up the knockout, and that should seal up the game for me, as the Flutter Mane in the back should not be able to one-shot my Golden Go. I don't think it does with a critical hit either, because the Golden Go is just extremely bulky. I also have still the Gothitelle around. I can just set up the Trick Room now, and Trick Room is just a super safe play here because I can go for, actually, do I have to go for Trick Room? I could just go for Psychic, right? Yeah, I just go for Psychic here, actually. I just go for Shadow Ball Psychic. I'm trying to figure out like if Flutter Mane could really do anything here that could stop me here, and just go fire critical hit onto Golden Go, maybe but I don't think we're gonna see that in that case. So Shadow Ball and Psychic should be able to knock out the Flutter Mane right here, and yeah, Shadow Ball gonna come out in a Golden Go with the Terra Steel. I don't think that should pick up a knockout. Yeah, critical hit didn't even knock out this Golden Go because the Golden Go has bulk on this team, and that should have been Psychic range anyway for my Gothitelle. But Golden Go gonna be able to finish it off with the Shadow Ball. Goodbye, Flutter Mane, and nice. I don't think I played nearly as well as I could have. I think if I tricked the Corviknight earlier, but again, it really just depended on the Flutter Mane option. I really didn't want to risk like a Specs Flutter Mane. Like a Specs Flutter Mane would have been pretty bad. So that's why I went for the attack turn one. It was Focus Sash. I was kind of fine to take the damage realistically. But yeah, I do think that I had maybe a few opportunities to go for like a trick in the Corviknight, because the Corviknight got a little bit scary, but luckily was able to get Trick Room up. All right, let's go over the games. Game 1, turn 1, eliminating the Amoonguss and getting the Annihilate to Terra was amazing. And the rest of the game allowed me to pressure the Annihilate without worrying it getting too out of hand with bulk ups under potential Reflect. Game 2, the Sand was tricky to deal with, especially with flinch factors, but Trick Room was very solid into it. There might have been opportunities to sweep with Terra Steel Iron Jugulis, being able to set up Tailwind to avoid taking too much damage from Rock Slide plus a Fairy type attack, with Golden Gold make it rain, allowing to clean up my opponent's side. Although Trick Room was what I went with to avoid rock slide flinches from the Sand Rush Lycanroc, and thankfully the odds worked out for us. Game 3, potentially tricking the Corviknight turn would have been a better play now knowing that the Flutter Mane is Life Orb. It might have backfired though because it's most likely Mirror Armor with Covert Cloak, so the Mirror Armor never came into play, which is why I was like confused about the Snarls, never dropping the special attack on myself the entire time, especially with it not being on Nerve or Pressure. I did get lucky that my opponent went for another Bulk Up though and let me get a Trick Room off, even though I missed the Snarl, but I was able to play well given the Trick Room. Although I do think looking back at a Terra Steel with the Gothitelle might have been a more solid play, allowing me to survive the double up from Shadow Ball and the Brave Bird at +1. Iron Jugulis is a really cool Pokemon, and I was thinking about it a lot on the Palafin Balance team while I was testing for potentially Vancouver, where it's a really cool Pokemon where it just has that access to the typings you really need, right? The dark coverage and the flying coverage. You don't have to tear it immediately like Roaring Moon for that ground immunity, which I think is pretty huge on that team. But it was really cool to see it, and I think this team's really neat with the ways it can play, especially with the Shadow Attack trapping, as well as the offensive mode, which is pretty strong with the Choice Specs Golden Go and Life Orb Great Tusk. But if you do want to check out Markus and his report or the details of the team, they'll be linked in the description down below, and you can grab the rental code that's on your screen available right now. And of course, subscribe to the channel for more VGC content.